All right, you guys. Boo, 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 boo. Wow, 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 wow,
Don't
wow,
worry, like
wow.
any good content creator, we're going to bury our early work.
Yeah, yeah. This will be invisible in a couple months, probably.
Which is great because this mustache, I know, it was actually for a themed Christmas party. So please, in the comments, be kind.
Yeah, and he's never gonna look like this again, and he's never looked better. So, dude, what movie did we just watch, dude?
So in this episode, we just finished 1994's The Santa Claus. It's a holiday classic to most people. To some, it's a Tim Allen movie. To others, it is just unwatchable. And we read some of those reviews on the IMDb page. They were pretty great.
It was mixed. It was you either
Very
loved it or you
mixed.
hated it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, lots of 10s, lots of 2s.
Yeah, a lot. Like kept mentioning over and over again. Tim Allen himself. Politics seemed to keep coming up. You know, people can't seem to separate
the art
this
from the artist.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're just like, how could you like this movie when you know he's voting for Trump or something like that? It's like this movie was made in 1994.
Yeah,
you know,
Trump was still cameoing in.
he was in Home Alone too at this point. Funny enough, another Christmas movie.
But no, he was very Tim Allen in this movie. You know, the sarcastic quips and the and just overall boorish immaturity that you would expect from a Tim Allen movie.
Yeah.
Namely Jungle to Jungle, which is my most recent Tim Allen watch.
Well, we watched Galaxy Quest together. I compared to that, and he was very kind of similar, kind of boisterous character, very sarcastic. I'll say this: I haven't seen this movie in quite a long time, and I thought this was going to be easy to rip on, and my first reaction is, I really liked it. I thought it held up really well. I think in my mind I've compared it to the sequels, which I think haven't aged maybe as well and are a little bit more silly.
I think those came at that weird time. It was a mix of CGI and practical effects that just did nothing for the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nothing but a hindrance, to be honest.
This movie looked great to me.
Set design,
practical effects everywhere. I thought the lighting was nice and dark and stuff, which I think they make it much more flat in the sequels and
it set
harsher.
I think that set up a great tone for the undercurrent of this movie, which is this guy having a psychotic break? Is he any good for his child?
Yeah.
The wife certainly doesn't think so.
The dramatic moments hit harder than I remember with that.
Yes.
Just the serious subject matter of having a kid taken away and stuff because of a father having a psychotic break. It was very much just like you could see the twist at the end of this movie kind of being, it is all in his head, and have it be like an actual darker movie and stuff like that by doing it that way,
No, I agree. And the physical set design actually helped play into that.
Let's get into it. Let's go over some of my silly notes here. All right, what Johnson's secretary? What's that mean? Oh that's right.
Right. So when he's hosting he's emceeing this Christmas party, he has to give up and say a few words. And the literal first thing he does right after thanking all of his coworkers for their hard work is call out his manager for getting a little frisky with the secretary there because the families aren't here, he says. The families aren't here, that's why.
Called out a coworker for openly cheating on his wife. Right in
This
the
is a
party.
room full of 100 people.
The whole party stared and looked at him and almost applauded, and he just gives a thumbs up, and he couldn't be happier about touching his secretary in front of everybody.
No, it's almost a power play of you all know, but you'll keep your fucking mouth shut.
This is how we started this children's movie. It was like, wow, here we go. This is the
it's
tone of this
Outlaw
movie.
Productions.
Yeah, Outlaw Production presents.
Production presents Johnson and Johnson, the secretary getter.
This ain't It's a Wonderful Life. This is a Tim Allen joint.
This ain't your mama's Christmas movie. I hate that fucking noise. Because they just made, a ton of money on this new toy and everything, which Scott Calvin, that's the main character's name, Tim Allen helped design and market, and he was one of the reasons it was so successful. So the guy is in the toy industry, knows a lot about
perfect
toys, marketing, the whole 9 yards. So it's kind of a perfect fit for Santa Claus,
Yep.
As far as job titles go in movies.
Yeah, the resume fits.
Now, how he was able to, he drives a Ford Taurus in this movie.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
What's that say to you?
That is a mid-class economy car.
Okay.
Yet he parks it in his 5-car garage mansion that this man lives in.
Yes.
I mean, this thing has to have 12 rooms.
The house was
house
very
is
noteworthy.
huge.
Yeah. Again, both the family sets have one child.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you using all these empty bedrooms for and stuff?
And it plays into this
the 90s, man. That consumerism.
Yeah, they didn't know any other families except divorcees with huge houses.
Huge houses for some reason.
For some reason, that's how they thought everyone in America lived.
Yeah, or just the movies and TV shows presented middle class as higher upper class, and made people in middle class aspire to do that, and then buy these houses they couldn't afford, and then hence these crashes and things like that.
McMansion crash.
Yeah, and just the idea of those McMansions, how ugly they are, even though these houses were very beautiful.
No, these are it's like half the size of the McAllister household.
Very similar look.
But it's just the front half. It's just as wide.
Yeah.
It's
just far too big. People need too many rooms for these
it
people.
kind of makes me wonder, why did they get divorced? It obviously wasn't money problems. It had to be because Tim Allen's character is such a childish fucking prick.
Yeah.
He's never listened to anyone.
This has another 90s trope. It reminds me of most Steven Spielberg movies back then, with the troubled family and stuff like that. But this had the trope that I believe, it wasn't too hard hitting, but it seemed like Scott Calvin would have wanted the wife back and his old family back and things like that. When it's just like, in real life, I don't think he actually would be all that interested in having the wife back. He just wants a relationship with the son.
A promotion.
Yeah,
he lives in a great house.
You'd think he'd be dating.
He's obviously got some savings because of that Ford Taurus.
Yeah, you'd think he'd be dating.
He'd be fine.
Chicks in their 20s right now.
Not to mention, we kind of did the math on it a little bit, and this family's been split up. I mean, that woman's already married.
Already remarried.
To Judge, what's his name? Judge
Reinhold. Yep.
That lady's already married to Judge Reinhold. They've been living together. That dude's a doctor. She ain't coming back. Bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's an upgrade. Judge Reinhold. He's got those big ears. And, big ears. You know what they say? Ugly sweaters. He's got that psychiatry money.
True.
They
say psychiatrists make excellent lovers.
They do?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I doubt they do. I don't know anyone that says that. Freud probably said that to all of his patients.
His family.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the big part. It's Christmas night. Tim Allen and his son. And
let's start it off with Tim Allen and his ex-wife, are arguing about their kid believing in Santa because she doesn't think it's healthy, now to just tell him lies. And Tim Allen's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's a kid. Let him have it.
Setting up our plot. Big twist.
So he gets
Santa's
him for
real.
Christmas Eve, and he tries to play the dutiful dad and everything, but it goes horribly awry. There's some pretty good jokes in here if they're not even, they're cliche, but the turkey on fire.
Yeah.
Trying to burn his house down. They go out to eat, and it's all single dads.
Yeah. Got the burn. Everybody's started a fire. They're all giving each other that knowing look of, we're bumbling dads.
That's exactly what
we can't do anything right.
My kids are suffering because I'm such a bumbling dad.
Yeah. It's so funny, the idea that dads just can't be good with kids or something. They can't raise their own children and stuff.
They have no idea what to do with their children.
A bunch of Homer Simpsons and stuff, just stumbling their way through life and stuff.
A weird trope of the 90s, but it was almost in every one of these films.
Yeah.
The style of film. At least.
Men couldn't do laundry without flooding the floor with laundry or
Catching on
bubbles
fire
and
somehow.
stuff. Yeah. So yeah.
So after they get home from Denny's.
Yep. They read the story.
It's the Night Before Christmas book.
Yep. Which is very telling to how it's going to play out here.
Yes.
Up on the rooftop, click, 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 or whatever that line is. And
rose such a ruckus.
Yeah, clatter.
A clatter.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I think that the people who wrote this screenplay just read that high as fuck.
Sure.
And then like, you know what? How many puns can we make out of this?
No. a lot of Christmas puns from the songs and stuff. It's great. It's lots of. They got all nice references in there. So yeah, they hear something up on the roof, which is super weird because you think it would happen all the time. Hearing this guy on the roof, so him and his son, they run out, and lo and behold, there is Saint Nick, Santa Claus, right on the roof there.
Yeah, he's got a bag of toys and he's ready to burgle. Distribute joy.
Yeah, and all Tim Allen says is a simple "Hey there" or something. What does he say? He's just like "Hey you" or something.
You.
Yeah, "Hey you." And Santa Claus is so startled by it, he is just like, whoa!
Yeah,
it's just
like his Christmas magic wore off, and he's amazed someone could see him.
Yeah.
Even though it sounded like a hockey team was playing on their roof.
Yeah.
How can no one else in the world ever have heard this before?
I thought because my theory would be Christmas magic would mute the sound all the time. Is doing all these other things
like
as
an
he
MIB
goes.
mind eraser, just like Christmas
Zoom.
magic.
Yeah.
Roofies.
But why something so simple would make him fall off the roof? Pretty silly.
It is pretty silly.
And
because you would think, now that he's so easily startled and falls off this roof, he actually falls to his death.
Yeah.
Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus, is dead from a household accident.
So disturbing. So strange.
Yeah.
The reactions from Scott Calvin that follows is more disturbing because it's nothing. It's just non-reactionary.
He's ready to bury the body.
Yeah, he's not calling 911. There's no urgency whatsoever. He lets his son get right up next to this newly fresh dead body, and they're just looking at it, talking about it, letting his son. Yeah, just like there's nothing, no urgency to check to see if he's alive, if he's okay, just nothing. It's so strange the way it plays out.
It's very strange the way it plays out.
I guess if you don't have the characters react to it, it makes it more PG because then it's just like, if they were like, oh my God, he's dead, then it suddenly is like
and the thick of that scene,
horrible.
The thick of that scene is the son who believes in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Trying to convince his father, who obviously does not believe in Santa Claus, he works for a toy company.
Right.
That this is the real Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
And whatever happens next is magic.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. This is when police reports, fire trucks. That guy's going to be questioned for a while about why there are reindeer on his roof.
Yeah. Even if it was the real Santa, let's call an ambulance for the guy, for God's sakes. Yeah, isn't it just the immediate thing we should do? It's so silly. So then the horror movie that you could just imagine a horror movie sting over is when they're distracted with the reindeer on the roof or like looking at it. Suddenly there's a wave of Santa's fucking little mitten hand in the snow and just saying goodbye. I was imagining that it was going to do like a Wizard of Oz thing, and the feet were gonna like curl up, and it practically did. When the Wicked Witch is like falls in the house, but it just all of a sudden we look back at it and there's just clothes,
blood and all.
Yeah,
his clothes left. He got raptured apparently.
In my mind, I almost thought it showed it happen, but they just do a cutaway, and suddenly the clothes are on the ground.
That's when Tim Allen and the kid are distracted by the actual reindeer that are on his roof.
Yeah,
and again. No freak out.
Yeah.
What do? They go over to the body and try to grab the pants, and then all of a sudden there's a ladder up to the roof.
Yeah, and they pull the card out of his pocket, the card right behind us here.
Yes.
And there's his name, the Santa Claus, Santa Claus.
Which, spoiler alert, inside here is the Santa Claus with an E.
Yeah, that's the little contract here that he ends up signing that makes him, by putting on the pants, he agrees to being the new Santa Claus.
So, in that way, the title, perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect title
It's
for
a great
this movie
pun.
plot.
It's a great pun.
It is a fantastic pun.
Yeah.
In fact, what were you telling me? A lot of people started misspelling
Yeah, because of this movie.
Santa Claus the person because of this.
A lot of 90s children just spelled Santa Claus wrong for a long, long time because of this movie. They just assume, well, there's an E on the end.
I wasn't one of them. I'm smart.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot either, so I would have never done something so
fucking
stupid.
children.
Just dumb
Edit that
millennial idiots.
We
For
all believed in
shame.
Santa back then. But, and it's weird because this is around the time that toys began, our Christmases, around when toys became much more complex. I mean, everyone wanted Game Boys and Super Nintendos. And my brother got a food dehydrator one year. I think that was for my mom. She just had to give it,
Yeah.
to a kid.
Well, let's get to that because once we get to the toy shop or whatever, or the North Pole, but first he delivers some presents along the way. He goes to his first house, which this is like the best part of the movie here.
First house,
because we brought this up right before it happened. We were like, "What? He's going to get shot." You think there'd be like replacement Santas constantly because of modern day people with having
every couple of
guns,
years, especially
and stuff
in
like
America.
that. Yeah. So cut to the first house Scott Calvin, goes into. It goes down the chimney.
He's a little bumbling.
Yeah.
He's a little uneasy being in someone else's house.
Yep.
But he does make some noise.
Yep.
Trying to get something out of his sack. And the first sound effect you hear is a dog barking and
Yeah. We get
who's there?
Rottweiler, a shotgun. Yeah.
What's he say? That dog, nice teeth.
Nice teeth. Good line. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good line.
Yeah. And
He's
so
a
yeah.
scared Santa Claus. Yeah, I don't know how. The alarm starts going off, and he's freaking out, and he just throws the toys everywhere so that he can get out of there.
Yeah.
And then they take off to the house across the street.
I thought it was a great, very neat way to show a modern '90s, America and how a Santa Claus would fit in today's modern society. I thought it was very, very funny. Second house with the Cindy Lou Who kid was super.
And it just leads a bunch of questions. How have people not seen this stuff before? That guy would have filed a report with Brinks or Simply Safe or whoever the fuck.
Well, I mean, the fact that within his first year, from beginning to end of this movie, that he got arrested by the police. Yes. People the news are seeing him like fly around on the sled. It's like, wow. Yeah, Scott Calvin didn't keep it a secret whatsoever. No. He couldn't keep that in his back pocket at all. And it's like, you think that almost would have been a rule from the elves to be like, you can't just like
tell everyone.
Just tell everybody. There's got to be like a weird secrety thing about it.
Seems like through magic of being Santa Claus, this stuff just kind of happens. He gets followed by reindeer.
Yeah.
Kids just start lining up to sit on Tim Allen's lap.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Kids can smell the pheromones of Santa, and they just know it.
Smell like milk and cookies and hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's how kids talk.
That's your impersonation of a child.
Yeah. Who said I want to? Can I get a tricycle over here?
Oh man.
So he goes to the second house. He ends up this little girl, this poor little girl.
Yeah, sleeping on the couch.
Yeah,
which is a little odd, but I guess it's just for the Christmas time.
Catch Santa in the act, and not because Dad took her door off her room or something crazy.
Something bad's happening. Yeah.
But it's a nice big house.
Yeah. Another big house.
It's really cool.
Yeah. We only want to visit the privileged kids in this movie. I don't want to see any poor houses.
No house less than 3 stories.
I don't want to see underprivileged kids get the toys. I only want to see the rich kids get more stuff.
When he gets the naughty and nice list, he reads off a name, Osman Ansari, and he's like, the fuck?
Was that the joke itself? That the fact that it's just like, what a foreign sounding name? It kind of was, yeah. In the 90s, that would have
Yeah.
been the joke
I mean,
itself. Just saying a foreign
Just saying
name.
a foreign
That's
name.
that name's not Kyle.
What?
the?
He's probably not even American.
Yeah.
It's like, that kid's probably American.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you Alex from now on. What? What?
Sorry, Aziz Ansari.
Your name is Brittany. Okay, I'm gonna call you Boo Boo because I can't pronounce Brittany.
But yeah, this poor little girl, she's sleeping on the couch, and he comes in, he's clattering all around. He's a real kind of a dickhead about the whole thing.
It's funny. It's really funny. I like the scene.
It's very inconvenient for him, so
Santa
he makes it her
Claus.
problem.
Scott Calvin. I love that delivery.
Where he tries being himself. And,
yeah.
Like, that's any better that you're in her house. So yeah, he has to eat the cookies, has to drink the milk, even though Scott Calvin is lactose intolerant, which there should be a few more fart jokes.
A few more.
A few more.
We did miss that. As soon as we meet the reindeer, there's a
second.
Yeah, it's like one of them has a fart joke, and it's like, oh, had to squeeze that in as fast as we could. All right.
It was wet.
Give us an example real quick. Okay. Give us one more. Just kidding. Okay, so now we're in the North Pole. They finished delivering their presents. Yes. They got good at it. He has that great line when they go off into the distance.
Like, he says, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm getting a cat scare."
Yeah.
Like only Tim Allen can scream.
Yeah, it was great. So they end up at the North Pole. That would be the first thing I thought as well. We get a great pun about the North Pole being a literal candy cane pole in the middle of the place. And,
like the decorations.
Yeah, and it's just a code buttons on there that another elf hits, and they go down into their secret bat cave entrance into the North Pole.
I'm all for giving this elf a job, but just put that remote on the sleigh.
Yeah,
just
seems like just like a quick little button somewhere, just right there. It doesn't really make sense.
You don't even need a security code.
Yeah.
No one's coming to rob you.
I hate that we're taking away his job, and he's probably had it for a long time, and it's like he's got his insurance and all that stuff.
He's like, thank God garage door openers were invented, so I get to come out here instead of cranking this chain.
What do you mean you got a garage door opener? I'm your garage door opener.
Have been since the Middle Ages.
Yeah, you don't understand. We just had to hit this button. I hit the button. That's what I've been hired to do. Yeah,
they're taking their chairs.
So they're in the fucking North Pole.
Yeah. So they get down there, and this is where we meet Bernard. He's the head elf.
Played brilliantly by David Krumholtz, right?
He did really good.
I love him. I've always loved him as a kid.
They had him in a very strange wig.
Super weird.
Made him look like a doll. It almost made him look lifeless. It was weird.
Which I said you said looked like yarn, and it looked kind of like Raggedy Ann or Andy, which maybe that's why Tim Allen gave the little Cindy Lou Who character that present, this Raggedy Andy doll.
Well, that makes sense.
And so just to tie in, we're going to have a character later on with this silly yarn hair.
And this is where he's saying, all right, well, the fun's over. I did his job last night. I'm out.
No.
I'm Scott Calvin. Deuces.
Yeah. He's having none of this.
No.
It's like he's not entertained by any of the whimsy.
He's talking down to elves.
Yeah.
He's kicking over presents.
Yeah.
Not really, but
this is all nonsense to him, even though it's happening right in front of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where the not freaking out comes back in because
very calm demeanor.
Yeah. I would freak out if Magic Reindeer took me to a place I've never been, and then suddenly I was in a giant underground bunker with a bunch of children.
Yeah. He's
slave children.
He's going about it in a very strange, calm, just happily going along with, well, I must either be dreaming or having a psychotic break. Either way, nothing weird is happening, because that can't be true. It can't be real. So
I'm with my son. That would mean he's crazy too.
Yeah.
Are we both crazy?
So he's just happily going along with the idea of, will somebody please just wake me up or get me home? And so...
And this is when Bernard gives him the nasty truth.
Yep.
You're the new Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You read the contract. You fulfilled your end of it. We fulfilled our end of it by giving you the pants and the coat and the sleigh and the job. Now you have to fulfill your part by checking the list twice.
No.
And delivering the presents next year. This is your life now.
It's basically when you update your iTunes or your software, and it gives the user agreement. Mm-hmm. And at the very bottom it says, like, we also own your soul now, but you just skip through it too quickly, and you go through and you're just like, should have read it.
You just had to get that new filter.
It?
Just had to get that.
Who just skims a contract like that? Dumb. I've read every word twice before ever hitting update.
You own Apple products.
Anyway.
He's very surprised. So, this is where he kind of gets a tour of the place, and his kid is ecstatic. I mean, this kid is over the moon that his dad is Santa Claus.
He loves looking at these super old-ass toys from the 1920s and 30s. I mean, we're talking like wooden trains.
Yeah.
Silly little cars.
Stuff you have to crank yourself.
Dolls, penguin statues for some reason. The
whole kit and caboodle of toys nobody wants anymore.
Yeah. No kid is looking at this stuff and is thinking, oh boy, I'm going to play with this. Mm-hmm. We're seeing no PlayStations.
My wooden train.
No video games. Nothing electronic.
No.
This is...
It's hard to keep up with the Joneses with these toys. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, this is interesting.
But the kid's he's so excited, because at first I think he thought his dad was a piece of shit, which is a weird trope in these 90s movies where, like, the kid is somehow smarter and more emotionally mature than the father.
Yeah.
Just because he's single.
Yeah.
Even though the dude, we learn later, is 38 years old.
39.
Speaking of ages, this is where we're introduced to Judy, the elf. For some reason, these people wrote in this little girl to sit there and flirt with a grown man, feeding him chocolate. And then when he jokes about reciprocating, yikes, she says, I'm seeing someone in rapping.
Yeah, there's this weird flirtation. She mentioned that she's, over 1,200 years old because she's been perfecting this recipe for 1,200 years old.
So she's at least 1,200.
Yeah, so she's well over that. And so, I don't like that she's the way she's sitting towards him, her whole demeanor.
They tried to pull the lolicon defense of it's a 500-year-old elf. No, that's an 11-year-old.
Didn't like
kid.
The whole scene.
It was weird. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if Dan Schneider wrote it.
Maybe, yeah.
It's just a really strange thing to do. Yeah. In your children's movies, have your child flirt with an adult.
Yeah. Have less of that
and then
in
have
children's
your adult
movies.
Jokingly reciprocate.
Yeah.
Also a very strange choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that in movies.
Yeah.
Or ever. Don't do it in real life.
We got to stop doing this whole old person in a young body thing or whatever. Very strange.
It's a very strange thing.
We even did it in Breath of the Wild, which was an odd choice, and then made her uber adult and sexy in the Tears of the Kingdom one or whatever.
That's true.
And it's like, what a strange. They did it.
Yeah, she's like
They're
70
still
years old,
doing
but
that
she's this
stuff.
tall.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, she's got a dump truck behind her.
Yeah. Strange choice.
But this is where Santa Claus or Scott Calvin, he's kind of settling in. He's not freaking out or anything. He just knows it's all a dream and it'll all be over soon. Mm-hmm. Except he wakes up in the same pajamas that Judy gave him.
Yep.
Christmas morning.
But does it prove it? No, not to Scott Calvin. Mm-hmm. Nope. He runs around. He's just like, well, he checks on stuff. He makes sure there's no dead body there and stuff like that.
He does. That's the first thing he does is make sure he's not on the hook for that dead guy.
Yeah, he's just checking under the snow, don't bury
Not
too
worried
deep.
about the monogram pajamas that came out of nowhere,
Yep.
or the toys that he did not buy.
Yep.
Because
Mm-hmm.
the little kid even says when he walks in to visit his dad, there's no presents under the tree.
Yep.
You know, and he says, "Well, Santa hasn't been here yet." So
Yeah.
wakes up, this kid is lounging in toys.
Lounging in it. We got all these
Like,
toys that
just
Scott Calvin
casually
didn't
unwrapping
buy.
A mountain of presents.
Scott never mentions it. He just sits down and he's just like talking about the night before, but he never says anything like,
Holy
wow,
shit! I
look at
didn't
all
buy
these
any
presents.
of that.
Yeah. Although, I mean, he has the memories, so I guess he does remember putting them there as Santa Claus himself. It's not like someone else did that. So he did that.
So he stopped by his own house after. Wait, no.
It never
The
showed
Santa
him doing
Claus fell off his roof, which means he was there to put the toys
that. Yeah.
in that house, but never made it down the chimney.
Is this
So he would've
is
had
this
to
a
come
plot
back.
hole? Who put the presents under Scott Calvin and his son's tree on that first Christmas night?
Because Santa died.
Because Santa died. He never made it down there.
And then Scott Calvin never went into his own house.
Maybe we
was-
are to assume as soon as Scott left the house, he had gone down and within a couple of seconds and gone right back up again.
My thinking is
Probably
maybe
not.
it's more part of the Santa contract.
Maybe the elves were like,
Elves
well,
were like,
since
he's busy.
he's busy,
He's not going
we
back to his
better
own
we
house.
better just fill it up and do him a
Let's just-
favor and stuff.
yeah.
He's not thinking about himself.
But yeah, this is this is where the real crux of the movie starts. Is the
Yeah.
mom starts thinking that maybe it's a bad idea for our kid to believe that his father is the actual Santa Claus.
Yeah, it starts getting into at least the subject matter ends up getting kind of dramatic just because it's like, oh, we're worried about our son. We think this is unhealthy. And the psychiatrist's stepfather
Yes.
is just like, you could be damaging your son. And it gets there,
Call him what he is. He's a doctor. Okay, Scott Calvin wants to. tell you,
He's a
this guy's-
psychiatrist. He's not a doctor.
He's not a doctor. He's a
Yeah.
psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Who are you fooling with that bullshit?
Yeah.
The man's a doctor.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, this is when they really start thinking, this guy may be doing more damage than helping the kid, and even though Scott Calvin should not be bad off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet he misses his family. He's got that big old house to console him. He's got a job to throw himself into, which he just got promoted at.
Yep.
You would think he wouldn't have a psychotic break.
You'd think he'd start dating.
Yeah.
So I like the unprofessional doctor I have in my note here. That was a funny scene. It's when
Yeah.
Scott's when he gets home, he starts having physical transformations. One of his he has a meeting at work where he suddenly comes in a week and he's gained 45 pounds, and they all comment about it because he's wearing sweatpants and how big he is, and he says it
nothing
was
fits.
he says it was a bee sting and stuff, and
A big bee.
a big bee, and he goes on a huge rant during the presentation, which was like kind of silly because the guy got nowhere with it. He was just doing a presentation about a tank toy.
Yeah.
Was that all it was?
Yeah, it was an advertisement for a tank toy where Santa is riding in a tank.
In the tank.
But for some reason, this whole Santa Claus thing has gotten to Scott Calvin so bad. It's like that fungus in The Last of Us that takes over your brain.
Yeah.
He now loves Christmas,
Yeah.
and he could never hear anyone even joke about Santa riding in a tank.
Yeah. You can't.
This has been your job for
ruin-
25 years, dude.
Yeah. You can't ruin the continuity in any kind of way to the lore of
To the lore of
Santa.
Santa Claus.
So it's like these elves with their beards, like, no.
Oh yeah, they look
that's-
more gnome-like,
yeah.
and he's like, "Can we make them like kids? You know,
know.
you don't want to fuck them or nothing."
Some specks of glitter on their cheeks.
Yes,
You
just
know.
make it super.
It's like, all right.
Yeah, and they're like, "This is just a rough draft, dude. We haven't done commercial production. This is seriously just
Yeah.
a storyboard."
Yeah, he let him get nowhere with the presentation before standing up, getting in everyone's face like he was the main character, which I guess he is. And,
He also didn't let him get anywhere before the presentation because he ordered half a cow for lunch.
yeah, why?
Which
why they all had to sit and just watch him eat this
Four
ice cream, or
desserts.
this ice cream or whatever. It was just like, you can start. I can
Yeah.
I can spoon this up.
This will be
just
fine. I'll
fine or
finish this
whatever.
cheesecake anyway. I've still got that left. So.
What is your presentation about? Toys? Yeah, I think I'm good to fucking like eat and listen. This isn't like we're not solving cancer here.
No.
It's about a toy tank. Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna eat while you do it. You don't have to be rude. It's not a big deal.
And he can't. He can't even let him do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he is so much the Santa Claus now. And he still tries to deny it for some reason, even though his brain is taken over and gotten hostile over the fact that someone tried to change the lore of Santa Claus at this point. So his boss tells him to go see a shrink and to get your head straight and don't come back until you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into a little bit about what is actually happening to Scott Calvin. This disease, or this curse, I guess you could say. It's physically transforming him, making him fat, making his hair turn gray. But it's literally transforming his mind into a being.
Being more receptive to Christmas magic.
Yeah,
And
but
it's like,
it seems like, a weird disease that,
Yes.
like the fact that it's literally changing his whole personality, this whole thing. Very strange.
yeah, it's like his hair growing in less than 3 seconds, or the fact that Santa has to have titties
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah.
He can't be a thin Santa Claus. Talking about ruining the lore.
Yeah, he
his
has
own physical
to be
body
physically
cannot.
overweight. Yeah.
Change the lore.
Yeah. So cut to this doctor scene, which we remember both from the trailer.
Yes.
Him running on the treadmill. I will say, great physical body effects.
Suit.
It looks real
whatever this
as
was,
hell. Like, it looks real. Like, all of it. The belly, like what they've done to his face and the makeup and stuff.
No,
like, he looks like he gained weight for the role. It looks incredibly real.
From his love handles all the way around to the like creases
Yeah,
underneath his...
even the fake boobs when he raises the...
Which
what is it? He laughs and kind of scoffs. Oh, let me motorboat those. It's like, sir.
From a man with... a man with breasts. No, and the doctor, while being completely unprofessional, has a great comedic presence.
No.
I wish they would have given him something more to do.
No. He was fun.
Because he nailed this doctor role.
Yeah.
He's telling him...
Not overly concerned, which he should have been.
He says,
even though crazy things are happening to
lay
this
off
man.
the sweets and just get some rest.
Yeah.
Your hormones are changing. You're middle-aged now.
Yeah. I guess he just wasn't believing Scott in the time frame and the timelines in which he was presenting this. In 1 week, you don't understand how much I physically transformed. He's like, you just started noticing in the last week or something. It must have been his person.
Well,
like,
and he tells him,
idea.
listen, I'll shave in the morning, and then in the afternoon, it is a full beard.
Yeah. Yeah. And he just doesn't quite believe that.
An inch and a half long, and that shit takes like a month and a half.
Yeah. So, over the next couple of scenes, it's almost like a long montage where we go from spring to summer, back into fall, where we're seeing fun sequences and scenes in which Scott Calvin is becoming the new Santa Claus. He's transforming. The pheromones are going off on him, so children are approaching him at the soccer game and sitting on his lap. They just know he's physically looking like Santa, and they just are like, that guy's Santa. I know it, and he can say he's not, but I know it.
And meanwhile, the kid can talk about nothing else than the fact that his father is Santa Claus. Yeah. And we should mention the career day scene.
Oh, brilliant scene. Love the career day scene.
This actually happens before the weight gain.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. It was a little earlier. Yeah.
But not only is there a fire retardant NASA spacesuit wearer astronaut in the background.
An astronaut.
I don't know where the school is.
Someone's kid is at a public school, or maybe it's not public school, but whereas just this,
it looked like a public school.
It looked like a public school. Yeah, and it's like. He's an astronaut.
He's an astronaut.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what kind of middle class.
Yeah. Who's living up to
class.
this guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Let him go last because there's no way anyone's gonna beat him.
Yeah.
So instead of having a successful successful psychiatrist stepfather step in, he introduces his real father as Santa Claus.
Cuckoo.
And yeah, everyone laughs at her.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Which, you know, you're probably right too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would have given that kid a swirly like crazy.
bullies.
I'll see you at the
Speaking of
flagpole.
This bully and his father are there just making fun of him the whole time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Make fun of the nerds.
Of course, he's like a construction worker. He couldn't be a jerk dentist.
No.
Or a jerk,
Yeah.
deli worker. He had to be a construction worker.
Yeah. Oh, and you pointed out on IMDb, and I noticed him. Didn't make note of it, but there was a hidden elf in the in the scene, pretending to be one of the students. He had the ears. And
we don't know if that's the Secret Service style where they're protecting him, or if it's more the CIA style where they're like listening in on him and keeping tabs.
Yeah, I think there was probably even some deleted scenes that would have shown more of the elves keeping an eye on him throughout the year and stuff, or maybe even at the soccer game. You know,
it kind of makes sense because he's trying to deal with all these physical and mental changes and everything, and then all of a sudden he is slammed into the reality that he is Santa Claus by this delivery of the list.
The list.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-bum.
It is thousands of pages.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's quadruple spaced.
Yeah. They could have. They literally could have
names on these sheets.
Yeah, that space saving is a big deal here. Yeah.
No, it had to look pretty.
They didn't go into the lore too much about it, other than I guess he just eventually learns every kid's name because as soon as he sees them, he knows them. So then I guess he knows them even just by name alone without seeing them as well.
It's true.
Because it is just like, well, how is he going to go around the world to see these kids be naughty or nice?
He's just got to know.
Yeah.
You know?
I wish they would have included a scene where he gave a naughty kid coal, since apparently he was doing that, but they never included a scene of that.
Continuity with the lore of Santa Claus, but he doesn't give anyone coal. Yeah. He does give this nice lady Veronica a compliment with Veronica, very nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
Let's just say, in your dreams, sleigh boy.
Yeah. So we've come around to, is it Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was the
Thanksgiving
day
is when he's due back.
Yeah.
You know, he has to check the list, so it's just before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
He's supposed to check it twice.
Now that we get to the darker end of, because now he's gone full Santa, and you never go full Santa.
Never go full Santa. He tried.
He tried.
He did. He dyed his hair black. He shaved
he tried against it.
Off.
Yeah.
Within seconds, he was back to being
this weird curse. Just is too powerful, and he can't help it. Now that he's gone full Santa, they're able to take full custody away from him on visitation rights from his son, because they are able to convince the lawyer that he is cuckoo. Cuckoo bananas is
and that it's just going to get worse because he has changed his physical appearance, he's changed his behavior, he's had kids line up for him at soccer games, and it's going downhill.
Yeah, getting real bad real quick. So
the kid's pretty sad about it, but as a viewer, I was
but not that sad about it.
Yeah, as a viewer, I was like, this is probably for the best.
Yeah, I was on the side of them, Judge Reinhold, that's for sure. Yes. I was like, let's trust the psychiatrist. This Tim Allen guy, he seems like an outlaw to me.
He's just emotionally immature. He's he just let his job go down the tubes. He's gonna lose his house. Yeah. He probably won't lose the Ford Taurus because that's paid off. Yeah.
He paid that cash on hand. He was fine.
Yeah, that was fine. It was like $4,000. Yeah. But he's going down the tubes, man.
Yeah.
In these parents' eyes, which is completely fair. But now it's the next Christmas.
The next Christmas, yep, we've gone. We only see the two Christmases in this movie: the first one, the second one. And,
yes.
And so now Now he's going for it. Now,
this is when he's in the full suit, and he actually goes to say goodbye to Charlie so that he can go make his yearly rounds.
Yep.
And this is when the parents kind of start thinking, wait a second, this guy might be a little bit magical. You know, the mom starts thinking
something's up.
She's starting to question whether she should have taken custody away.
Yeah, feeling guilt.
And as soon as she does that, the kid and Santa are gone.
Yep.
He's now kidnapped this child.
Yeah. Into Breaking Bad, kidnapped the kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not like, well, he just took him on a ride. No. No. He kidnapped this child and took him to international waters or the North Pole. So he's now wanted Santa.
Yeah. It's gotten dangerous real quick.
Yeah. Well, that's a real situation, you know.
No.
Kids are kidnapped all the time.
Yeah. So now we get to my favorite scene. Is the Q from James Bond homage. I loved it. We get to see all these cool. They've done lots of weird technological advancements in the last year.
For some reason, now
because of Tim Allen.
got on board with circuitry.
Yeah, which is weird. It's not like Tim Allen had any.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. It's not like Tim Allen had any
influences to say, "Hey, let's do these things,"
or even the know-how. Did you see the doll that they actually got famous for in the beginning of the? It just looked like a regular doll.
Yeah, exactly. So how did they do this stuff? But either way, what have we got? We've got fire resistant Santa suit here.
Yes, even though chimneys weren't a problem in the movie to begin with.
You're right.
They just had to show this melted Santa.
You know, we need flamethrowers and stuff. Oh, and let's mention that the boy Q himself. I don't know his real name in the movie, but he's a little British boy that they introduced.
The only one with an accent in this movie.
Yeah, and he's got the gadgetry, and it's a very clear homage to Q from James Bond, and I thought it was super cute.
Leading him around the lab and showing him what all they made.
Very cute. So, what else do we see?
There's the hat with the
hat with the
microphone.
Tactical hat with the microphone. Very so the mic's right at the end of the poof ball.
It's a really nice framing hat.
Yeah.
It frames it really well.
Yeah. Because it looks like swooping hair.
Yeah, so that's pretty useful too. It's just looking cool.
Yeah.
Form and function.
Yeah. What else we got in there?
There was the cocoa cookie dispenser. When he was
in the sled.
In the sled.
That was
like,
the most important
we got CDs
thing.
up in here. None of that tape deck bullshit. He's like, no, it's for cocoa and cookies, you bitch.
And
fat bitch.
The son himself and the elves were working on a vertical takeoff for the sled, which we then see later on as they leaving is like they get a go up.
I guess if your house isn't big enough for them to land normally on, they can take off now. So it's single wide.
Yeah, it makes the CG look pretty wonky actually, because then it's just like all the deer are just going straight up, and then this is like, oh, okay, it was almost like a easy way to do the animation for the movie for those scenes.
Solving problems that just really
didn't exist in the first place.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the last Santa would have had these things built in if it were an issue, but it's not.
Something against shotguns and Rottweilers is something that they should have, since that was an actual issue.
Batman armor,
thing you
that
dealt
I would
with.
Understand.
Yeah.
Or like,
you didn't deal with fire,
why
so why did they
red?
introduce that?
Why can't it be tactical black so they just can't see him while they're in their house?
Something to muffle the noise would have been good.
Sneakers, which there are a lot of Converse in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of Converse, which are cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
weird that they didn't have inventions that actually applied to things that he dealt with earlier. That would have been smarter written.
I think it would have made funnier gags.
Yeah.
Because then you could have the gag and the solution, which is also a gag.
Yeah.
But they didn't decide to do that.
Yep. But they weren't smart like we are. Well.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got all these inventions now. We're now going back out. He's delivering presents. The mom has cops all over the place. This is when we start to see the search for Santa. And these small town middle-class cops
They get them.
are roughing these Santas up for
Yeah.
walking down the street.
Yeah, they get every little walking Santa all
Everywhere.
around. And there's a lot. There's a lot of Santas working on Christmas Eve, like late in the night Christmas Eve. Like, it's like, wow, a lot of y'all are like working right now. It's like there's usually not shopping mall Santas out on Christmas Eve doing stuff, but
No.
they were like dozens
They're
of them out doing stuff. And I guess maybe they could have just been party goers and stuff or something. But
They had a Santa lineup.
Santa lineup.
And then, as they're all searching for this boy, because he's kidnapped,
Yep.
Scott Calvin, they catch him in the house with the wife and the stepdad. Same house. He's putting presents for his own kid
Yeah.
under their tree in a house surrounded by cops. You know he saw those cops everywhere when he was landing. They are not hiding.
Yep. SWAT team comes in.
And yeah,
Go, get him.
where they catch him.
Get on
and
the ground.
They put him in the... Can you imagine? They just break his arm, start macing him. But no, they catch him and he's like, all right, well, I know your name now. You know, I know your name is Scott Calvin. Now, when I say name, you say Scott Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
Name?
Chris Kringle.
Name?
Popo Gijo. I remember that one. Popo Gijo.
Noel. Oh, St. Nicholas. It's like, now he is so fully committed to the bit that he doesn't care if he is shot.
Yeah.
For being
He's
Santa
like,
Claus.
I would rather die than
Then
call myself
even
Scott
call
Calvin.
myself Scott Calvin
Yeah.
anymore.
I'm,
Yeah, which,
I'm
and like I said,
through
it's that
Santa.
fungus brain infestation, man, that just
Yeah.
made him into Santa Claus.
Which shows you, just how disturbing this thing is.
It really is, because you would
Yeah.
think, like, if he didn't want to be Santa Claus,
Yeah.
eventually he would just unalive himself or something.
Yeah.
You know, he'd fall off a roof on purpose.
Yeah.
But apparently, this keeps you from doing that because you want to be Santa Claus.
Now, after this movie, it makes me want to see the sequels for lore reasons simply, but does he go, like, once he's done with this Christmas, does he lose the weight again and go right back to being Scott Calvin for the year? Or can he make the decision to just be like, I live here now?
Yeah, I think after this, he's already lost the house.
Okay.
He's not going back to work.
So this
I think he moved
he's
into
like,
the North Pole,
live here, and this is who I am forever. Like,
started
24 hours a day now.
dating Judy
Okay.
and the gift wrapper.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's moved into the North Pole. Did you see his bedroom at the North Pole? It
Yeah.
was massive.
It was great.
It was like 3 living rooms.
Yeah. So he lives up there now.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's no longer Scott Calvin.
All right. So yeah. Either way, he's been he gets arrested. He gets questioned, and then
This is when the elves figure out that something's wrong. They can't reach him on the radio.
yeah.
So they send out the ELFS.
Yeah. Elves. Yeah.
The elves.
Oh no. What were they?
The effective,
Levitating? No.
no,
Liberating.
liberating.
Effective
The effective
liberating
liberation flying
flying
squad.
squad. Okay. Yeah.
And,
then elves with jetpacks.
Pretty much elves with jetpacks and guns.
Look cool.
And,
I remember loving that as a kid.
dude, and the garrote wire that they had,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they called it tinsel.
Yeah.
But those little fuckers are assassins.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
It was cool. So they fly into place,
Mm-hmm.
fly out of a cool igloo, get to the jail, break him out really easily,
Really
no
easy.
problem. They have to wrap the Irish
Yeah, they assault a cop,
cop guy, eating a donut.
and then they try to suffocate him with a donut in his mouth.
yeah, this movie's very anti-cop, very anti-police.
As
Yeah.
much as it is kid power, it is not cup power.
Yeah, make the police seem like a bunch of doofuses.
Yeah, a bunch of just fat doofuses.
Yeah, eating their donuts.
Really surprised that guy didn't have a Irish accent. Like you said.
I thought he
He
was
had
so
the red hair.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost looked like Bozo the Clown with like this
yeah.
male pattern baldness into a crusty kind of wig
definitely
scenario.
crusty thing.
I don't know what was going on.
Lucy K, if he let it grow
That guy
out
had
and get
nothing to do
curly.
with Christmas, guaranteed.
Yeah. So then he's free. That's the other thing. It's like he doesn't hide it at all. Like it's just like, hey everybody, guess what? Santa's real. the news is there filming it.
Oh yeah.
They're seeing the sled and
people
and
brought their kids out to a street corner to watch
Yeah.
this dude get swatted, and they wanted him to get shot. I mean,
oh yeah,
there's
They're
no other
praying
reason
for
for
it.
all of these people to just be watching this like it was.
They
What do
couldn't
people
wait.
watch.
cops
Cops,
or
yeah.
car accidents. They
Yeah,
couldn't look
there's
away
just-
because of the car accident.
There's just no other reason for these people to all be out there with their children.
Yeah,
You know, in these other people's business.
yeah. They're like, gather round, kids.
They do.
Look at this.
It's pretty crazy.
yeah,
But this is when Santa, shows himself to the world, really.
yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, it's after all these years, like this guy who's Scott Calvin just couldn't keep it a big secret, and he was just like, "Sorry, I didn't know that was part of the clause."
yeah, which after 1,200 years, which would make Christmas older than some religion.
Yeah,
Some religions,
Yeah.
a
a little strange with that.
little
the
strange with
lore
that
and
time
stuff,
frame
yeah.
there.
Again, unless the elves were doing Lord of the Rings like stuff before they became the Christmas elves and stuff, they must have been doing other stuff
Yeah,
before
they
then.
Came
You
here
know?
from Middle Earth.
Yeah,
That's kind of rad, actually.
yeah. I wonder if they're the ones that made this curse
Oh.
and did it themselves. You know,
They're all a bunch of jinns that just want to keep
Yeah.
this lore
Something-
going and
yeah,
sucker some poor guy into being fat and isolated.
super strange.
That's
Yeah,
a dark twist on it,
yeah.
which probably better movie.
Hey.
Which in
So
all fairness,
yeah, so it ends. That's basically it,
that's
right?
basically
That's
it. Everyone
ends.
believes in Santa Claus
Yeah,
now,
that's it.
including the mom.
Yeah, the psychiatrist stepdad gets his Oscar Mayer weenie whistle.
Which transforms him into a child.
Yeah, he just is just like so whimsical and childlike again.
Yeah, and then he's done with the movie.
Yeah, she gets a board game, a match game,
A mystery date.
mystery date game, and it's all sweet, and it ends, and it was good. I thought it held up super great. That was one of Tim Allen's best. I thought it was actually on par with Galaxy Quest. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I thought it was pretty darn
I do
funny.
agree. It surprised me how much I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I really not a big fan of Tim Allen.
Yeah, me neither.
Not a big fan of Christmas in general. Both of those things are kind of a little too Christian for me.
Yeah.
But
This
this
made me
movie
feel
held
good.
up great.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it held up really well.
There's still there's the tropes that you can they're more obvious now, like the single dad tropes and the all those sort of things. But
Yeah,
as far as movies go,
yeah, I was happy with it. I thought it was pretty darn good, and I think it gets downhill immediately. I think the sequels are not good, but I also
even though they have Martin Short.
I mean, Martin
Some
Short's
great
funny in
actors.
everything he does, and he when he pops up, he does his thing or whatever.
True.
But I bet it's not that great. You know, I think the quality goes down quick.
Yeah.
But anyway, I really enjoyed watching this movie with you, dude. It was really fun. Yeah.
We're glad to be doing this again, filming a little bit. I know we took a little bit off.
Yeah,
Or sometimes life gets in the way. If you guys would like to hit that subscribe button, that is one step closer for us to not have to work to pay bills and things anymore. So
yeah. And comment that'll help us
Absolutely.
improve on this and
Yeah.
get better at it for you guys.
go watch our other shitty episodes.
Yeah.
Those will be great.
Yeah, Yeah,
You
force yourself to do
you
that.
got some time to kill. We'd love to kill it for you.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful day.
And a merry fucking Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you next time.